Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025 meeting of the Long Meadow Select Board. This is a hybrid meeting. This is Select Board Chair Josh Levine. Mr. Friedman, you can wait until we get to public comment. This is Select Board Chair Josh Levine. I will be confirming that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dan Zwerka.
Here.
Benithe Mavathi.
Here.
Andrew Lamb.
Here.
Shelley Maynard DeWolf.
Here.
Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Lynn Simmons.
Here.
Mike Barbieri. Peggy Sheldon.
Here.
This open meeting, the Long Meadow Select Board is convened in person via Zoom webinar as posted on the agenda and town's website identifying how the public may join. There is no chat or Q&A function. All the materials for this meeting are available on the agenda posted on longmeadowma.gov. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. This meeting will feature resident comment. For residents attending the meeting in person, please raise your hand when we get to the comments section of the meeting, and I will call on you to approach the microphone. For residents participating in the meeting via Zoom webinar format, please use the raise hand icon at the bottom of the screen. The meeting moderator will promote you to panelist, unmute you, and give you permission to speak. If you join the webinar by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. Residents who wish to speak will identify their names and addresses only. Each individual is afforded 3 minutes for comments. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. If anyone in attendance is recording this meeting, please announce yourself now. Seeing none, we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First up, we have Select Board announcements. I clicked packet, so I didn't have links. September 9th special town meeting and September 30th special town election. The special town meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 9th at the Long Meadow High School Gymnasium at 7 p.m. to vote on project funding for the middle school building project. This will be followed by a special election on September 30th to vote on a proposed debt exclusion. For additional information, please visit the middle school building project page on longmeadow.k12.ma.us. The warrant for the meeting can also be found at www.longmeadowma.gov/town-meeting. And for those following along on the agenda, those are available as links. First up, we have resident comments. If anyone, Kurt, go ahead.
Good evening. Kurt Friedman, 24 Ridge Road. The following information was obtained from the National Association of Realtors website. Some 23 years ago, Why Johnny Can't Walk to School is the title of a 2002 report by the National Trust for Historic Preservation, which explains why fewer children walk to school. Nationwide, over the past 70 years, schools have become significantly bigger, and there are fewer of them. Since 1945, average school size has increased fivefold, and the number of schools has declined by 70%. And schools are located farther from the families they serve. Consider this: in 1969, 87% of students lived within 1 mile of their school. By 2001, only 21% lived within a mile of school. The environmental and health consequences of school, building, and siting decisions made over the last 70 years and the impact on the quality of life in surrounding communities have been enormous. Policy decisions that promote car, bus-dependent communities, neighborhood walkable schools are being replaced by larger schools in more distant locations that are only accessible by car or bus. Traffic congestion and emissions associated with transportation to and from school have become major problems. The focus on car-dependent infrastructure and the replacement of historic neighborhood schools with larger, more distant schools contribute to the problem. The number of students living within 1 mile of their school has significantly decreased, with private vehicles becoming the dominant mode of transportation for youth. The cost of busing students is a financial issue facing school boards around the country. Less walking and physical activity contribute to the rise of childhood obesity. The shift away from walkable, community-centered schools erodes the vitality of neighborhoods that these schools once anchored. Experts advocate for policy innovations to support this creation of healthier, more walkable communities, including supporting community-centered neighborhood schools. The renovation of our neighborhood schools, Glenbrook and Williams Middle Schools, is in the best interest of the academic performance and health of our community's children. Please visit www.saveourmiddleschools.org. Please vote no on September 9th. Thank you.
Mr. DeGuglio? Sorry.
Bill DiGiulio, 8 Woodside Drive. So I'd like to make some comments concerning the consolidated middle school. And in particular, I want to talk to the future of the Glenbrook property and what the future may be for that particular parcel of land should the school get built in the Williams site. So we've talked to quite a few people and we've canvassed in the Glenbrook and Wolf Swamp neighborhoods, and it's pretty clear to us that a major point of concern for a lot of residents is what is going to happen to the Glenbrook property should this project proceed. And I know we've asked the middle school building committee, possibly select board, various members of the town government, and the consistent response, I think, has been we really don't know, or that no decision has been made yet on that, the future of that property. So I started doing some digging into the Affordable Home Act that was passed on August 6th of last year by Governor Healy, and I'm sure you all know the mandate of this particular act, but it mandates that all communities in the state of Massachusetts, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, maintain a minimum of 10% of the available housing stock be affordable. And you also may be aware that Long Meadow is woefully behind. We're currently at 4.7%. And what that does is it opens up the town to a particular risk. And one of the repercussions of not meeting that mandate, and I'm going to read directly from the act, is that it puts communities at greater risk of having developers override the local zoning requirements and build developments that are opposed at the local level. Now, I'm not making any predictions about what will happen to that piece of property. I know less than you all know, and perhaps somebody in town does know what the future of that property is. But my point is that I don't think anybody should be voting yes on this consolidated middle school until they know what the plan is for the Glenbrook property. It's only fair to the people and the residents who live in that part of town. If they choose to vote for this project, they should know that they're also voting for the future of that parcel of land, and they deserve to know what the plan is. And this town has a long-range planning committee. I've seen 5-year plans. I've seen all kinds of capital plans going out 5 years. I find it hard to believe that no one in this town has any idea what the future of that property is. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Teresa DiGiulio. I live at 8 Woodside Drive. I just want to say that you are the select board. Long Meadow Select Board's authority and duties are defined by the Mass General laws and the town's charter bylaws. There are, in my opinion, a lot of laws being violated here. So there are, quote, end quote, engineers, professional engineers, that are doing studies that have been done, but they have not been done properly. And you all know this. They have been traffic studies done on sunny, beautiful days, not inclement weather days. I don't know how any one of you can sit up here and face us and tell us you're doing your due diligence. That's just one. So I think you all need to come back to the drawing board, go to the townspeople and see what the townspeople really want. You are violating so many of your own laws that you're supposedly standing behind.
Anyone else? Ms. Burke?
Hi, I'm Cameron Burke. I live at 25 Woolworth Street. I'm in a butter to the Williams Middle School potential project. I am a graduate of Williams Middle School, as was my mother, and my daughter just started 6th grade there. I am not in favor of this because I'm a parent. I'm in favor of this because this is the right thing for our town fiscally. It's the right thing for our town's community. It's the right thing for the education. It's the right thing to do. I understand the process that has gone on. I was in the high school, as I think Dan was, when the high school was about to lose accreditation due to how it was physically in the building. And, you know, I saw what the town did. I've been a resident here most of my life. The due diligence that has gone into this cannot be discounted. The engineers, the project managers, the architects, everyone that's been involved with this did their due diligence. The communication from our town manager, from the select board, from the school building committee, everyone has been abreast as much as they want to be. We've all been involved. When questions have been asked, we've answered them if we wanted to. It is on us as the town voters, I think, to engage with the select board, with the school building committee, with the school committee, with the finance committee, anyone who's asking questions of us. We should fill out the surveys, we should do everything. And those of us who are engaged have had a lot of communication about what's going on. I think it's the best thing for our community. You know, I've seen all the support that the other committees and boards have given, and I hope you give the same. Thank you so much.
Anyone else in the room? Mr. Ray?
Armin Ray, 96 Shadyside Drive, also chair of the Long Meadow Middle School Building Committee. Next week we have an important vote in town. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that they should get out and vote, regardless of their position. That if they need more information on the project, it is all there and transparent on the website, Middle School Building Committee website. Every meeting that we've had with all the minutes, all the notes, all the discussions we had. And if anybody cares to even go further back, they can look at Finance Committee meeting minutes from probably 5-6 years ago, where we discussed how we would position the funding for this project to make sure that it fell in with some of the bonds coming off and some of the bonds coming on, so the planning was done years and years in advance. This was started over 4 years ago with a meeting in November where we initially funded the initial studies. The studies all came back. Again, all that information is publicly available. So if anybody has any questions whatsoever without conjecture, please go to the website, read the papers for yourselves. And if you have any other questions, any member of the school building committee would be more than happy to answer any open questions. But most important of all, please get out and vote next Tuesday. And thanks to Lynn for the logistics on making this, I think, was an event that we tried to make everybody as most comfortable as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room? No? Do we have anybody online? And I'm not seeing anybody. Okay, so we will then move on to interviews and appointments.
Yeah, first up, Carol Martucci.
Okay, and she's online, looks like. Hi, Carol, are you able to hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Carol Martucci, 18 Fairfield Terrace.
Okay, and you've applied for the audit committee to be reappointed. Can you tell us about your experience and why you're reapplying?
Yeah, so I was appointed to the audit committee about 3 years ago was my first time serving on a town committee. I've lived in Long Meadow for 9 years, but my background is all in finance. At my work, I oversee an accounting department. I worked as an auditor before I worked as an accounting manager. The industry I happen to work in is governmental power. So I don't work for a government agency, but I do work on behalf of municipalities that have their own light departments. Long Meadow is not one of those, so there's no conflict of interest. I know we just voted a light department, but that's specifically in fiber, which my organization does not work in fiber. We serve electric. So like Holyoke Gas and Electric, Westfield would be customers. But anyway, I worked there for 16 years. I'm very familiar with municipal financial statements. And that was what drew me to the audit committee in the first place. And now I've served on the committee for 3 years. I'm secretary, so I take the minutes. The audit committee is a pretty quiet committee so far. We meet a few times a year to review the audit plan for the town, and thankfully I think the town's financials have run very smoothly, and that's a credit to the team there, even with the transition of the old finance manager going out. So there was a lot of focus on that in my tenure on the audit committee. But I would like to kind of keep working on that. I know that there's somebody who's being appointed today that's interviewed, but I believe we're basically just at a quorum. So in order for the audit committee to keep meeting, we all need to stay on. So I would like to keep working in that role.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Any questions from the rest of the board?
No.
All right. I guess you said enough. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next, I'll go ahead. I presume it's the gentleman in scrubs.
Mr. Bologna?
Greg Valania, 67 Ely Road. Or sorry, 67, yeah, Ely Road. I'm trying to think, I moved from. So I'm at 4.5 years, I think, on the committee, on the select board, or on the board of health, I should say. I was appointed during COVID. I did a 1.5-year term and did a 3-year. And I am being nominated to be the secretary because I think other people would like to switch off that role. So I'll be the nominated secretary hopefully in the future. I had enjoyed my time with the providers they're on. Would like to keep on. My background is a heart failure and transplant cardiologist at Bay State. I'm a professor at UMass. I think I have the requisite experience, so I'll keep it as succinct as possible. So, questions?
How are you finding is the board functioning well?
Yeah, I mean, we lost one member from moving. That is a non-voting member, which I think would be probably likely to move into a voting membership role. I think we probably, could use another member after that. So, but the board functions well. 3 of us work together at Bay State, so we all know each other very well. So,
You can find any other doctors that live in Long Meadow.
we have plenty of physicians in Long Meadow. One on the board here. So,
Carl, thank you very much. Any
Sure.
questions from the board? No, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Bye.
Mr. McCullough?
Hi there. Rick McCullough, 281 Converse Street.
Okay, and sorry, I lost my place on the agenda. Are you currently serving on COMCOM?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am. So started last year and just sort of getting adjusted into it. It's an interesting board. Lots of new terminology. My background as a builder and realtor, I think I talked about last year when I was before you. I was looked at it from a different angle, and so far I've enjoyed it. Probably don't add as much as some of the other members do with their experience, but I've been okay with it and would like to continue on.
Have you completed any of the training? Lynn, are there requirements for training, or it's all optional?
For conservation, I believe it's optional.
I know there's state has a lot of training available, that not everyone does, but some people spend a lot of time on it, so.
And that's, I can tell that with the people that I'm with, and I have not completed that training, but no, I think my core reasons for joining were concerns about like our current, what we have, like Bliss Park, Laurel, Turner, and the preservation of the things that we have now in town. And that's, it just came from walking my dog over at Bliss Park. So every day I enjoy it, and that's where I'm coming from.
We'll be discussing a bit more about that later in the meeting. Any questions from any member of the board? Okay, great. Well, thank you for your continued interest. We appreciate it, and we'll be voting in a couple weeks.
Okay, thanks so much.
Ms. Kukat?
My name's Catherine Kucab, 5 Summit Avenue. I'm currently chair of the tree committee, and I'm looking for reappointment. We've had a lot of things going on. Finally, we've had 2 years that we didn't have terrible storms to be knocking a lot of trees down. But you never know. You just never know when a tree's going to tumble down or what's going to happen. So we really want to take good care of the trees. They're such an asset to the town. Just a couple of things that we did last year. We had a terrific Arbor Day program. They brought in a fellow who was a wonderful actor, and he was entertaining the kids while teaching them about trees. It was a wonderful program. We were so happy with the way it went and with the way the kids enjoyed it. We had tree planting with Boy Scouts and their families, and that was great. The tree committee itself only went along to advise. The boys got right into it. The parents were terrific. They were all wielding shovels and doing a great job, and we hope to do that again this fall. We also attended the Future Planet Fiesta, and we had trees to give out, and surprisingly, the trees did not go, but that's never a problem. We can tuck them away in various places and use them the next year for other activities. Regarding the Future Planet Fiesta, we decided that after all these years, we needed a sign that said Long Meadow Tree Committee, because most people don't even know we're here or what we do, and so we had one of those made up this year. There are only 7 of us on the committee, so it's a really nice situation. We all pretty much agree why we're there, and let's see. Last year, DCR puts out a calendar for the kiddos. And last year we got quite a few kids in the schools to participate through the art teachers. They did a great job. A number of the Long Meadow pictures were in the calendar, and the calendars were then handed out to the schools, thanking them for participating. We do that every year, and we do the best we can to get people to pay attention to the trees. And I can't say enough. We've been before you for other things, and we think it's really, really important to get the community behind us. And next year we're considering 2 possibilities. We're considering a small arboretum on the town green, which would include buying a lot of things. We would just be labeling the trees that are out there and providing some information about them so people on their walks could look around and see what's out there. And the second one is perhaps having a small nursery. That we've just started talking about, so there's not, I don't even have much information on that yet, but another chance so that if we could get some trees growing, if a tree fell down somewhere, we'd have one ready right away without having to go out and buy a new one. But that's in the future. I've enjoyed working on the tree committee a great deal, and I would like to continue doing it.
Great. Any questions on that? No. Thank you so much. We appreciate all your work and your continued interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next up on our agenda, the appointments. Vineet, do you want to give us a motion?
So the first motion I'll make, because Ms. Martucci just applied and interviewed, I do think that she should be receiving the full 3-year term on the audit committee. And so because of that, I will move to appoint Clifford Scott to the vacant 3-year term expiring on June 30th, 2027, to the audit committee.
We have a second?
Second.
All right, anything further? Seeing none, all those in favor? All right, unanimous?
Great. And I will move to appoint Anthony Martin to the 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2028 to the Board of Assessors.
A second?
Second.
Okay, anything further? All those in favor?
All right, I will move to appoint Kimberly Ketchum and Caitlin Cronin to 3-year terms expiring June 30th, 2028 on the Cultural Council.
Second.
All right, anything further? All those in favor?
Shelley.
We're good?
Good.
Okay. Next up, I will move to appoint Richard Bontempo and Carly Picard to 3-year terms expiring June 30th, 2028 to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
All right, anything further? All those in favor?
And I think all of us were impressed by Amelia Da Silva, but I know that she is, I think, a rising senior, and so I don't know what her plans might entail after she graduates from high school. So I think because of that, it would be appropriate for us to appoint the other 3 to the 3-year terms and to appoint her to the 2-year term that's left. So I will move to appoint Amelia Da Silva to the vacant 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2027 to the DI committee.
Second.
Anything further? All those in favor?
And I'll move to appoint Ronnie Levitt, Nahal Patel, and Linda Preston to the 3-year terms expiring June 30th, 2028 to the DEI committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right, and I will move to appoint Connie Ryder to the 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2028 to the Historic District Commission.
Second.
And nothing further. All those in favor?
And finally, sorry?
Shelley.
Yep. And finally, I'll move to appoint Susan Shepard and Richard Bontempo to 3-year terms expiring June 30th, 2028 to the Recycling Commission.
Second.
Nothing further, and all those in favor. Okay, thank you to everyone who applied, and congratulations, and or congratulations again on reappointments, and we do appreciate it. Moving on to select board comments. Anyone want to go first? Dan, go ahead.
Thanks. First, I just wanted to thank the Longmeadow Police Department for all of their work that they did to apprehend the suspect in the recent bank robbery at Country Bank about a week or so ago. So I know there's a lot of work involved with Chief Stocks and the rest of the team at the police department, so I wanted to thank them for that. And also, I was reminded, because our Madam Moderator is here, Mr. Thomas Townsend was appointed as Justice to the Superior Court in Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So if there was ever a power couple and you could read that in the dictionary. I think it would be Madam Moderator and her husband, Honorable Thomas Townsend. So congratulations, well deserved. That's all that I had.
Anybody else? Pete?
Yeah. Thank you, Dan, for mentioning those two. And it's echo everything that was said there. I just wanted to quickly talk about, and this shows up in the correspondence, what was happening this past week and over the weekend with Mass Priorities and door knocking in town across Longmeadow. So Mass Priorities is a dark money PAC that's funded by Comcast, and we've seen Mass Priorities conduct these kinds of operations in towns that are moving towards adopting municipal fiber. And I think when you take a look at some of the tactics that they're using, some of the misinformation that they're spreading, it really says, I think, everything that you need to know about what they're doing and what their priorities are. It's kind of humorous to me that when they need to take steps to spread misinformation or to kill municipal fiber, that last year they had phone bankers from Russell calling into Longmeadow spreading misinformation. This past week they've had door knockers in town knocking on people's doors spreading misinformation. But if you are actually a Comcast customer that needs help with your service, then you have to either talk to a robot or you have to talk to somebody in a different country. And that tells you everything that you need to know about their priorities and what they care about. And in some of the literature that they're passing out, I mean, the amount of misinformation in there it's really astounding. One of the things that they talk about is an upcoming November vote on fiber internet, which is not something that is scheduled or any of us know anything about. So they've created this imaginary vote just to create an opportunity for themselves to deploy scare tactics and to create confusion and to create more misinformation. And they also, in their literature, talk about how if municipal fiber comes into existence, that Fiber Spring would have full control over it and town residents wouldn't have any say or any control over it, which is obviously couldn't be further from the truth. This is the whole point of municipal fiber, is that we would be able to control the rates, the town would own the network, and we would be able to decide when upgrades were made and how the network was actually functioning. And it's interesting that what they're describing is actually what Comcast is. It's, that's what's the reality right now, is that Longmeadow doesn't have any say on what the rates are or what they're doing. And so they, in creating the scare tactic, are basically just describing themselves at this point. And this is just another attempt to create confusion and misinformation. And what we will see throughout this is more of these types of attempts, and we've spoken to other communities like West Springfield, Westfield, other towns that have gone towards municipal fiber, and they've also saw these same attempts to create confusion and misinformation. And the town of Longmeadow is going to continue to see this, because I think what Comcast knows, as the same thing that we know, is that if Longmeadow fiber becomes a reality, that it is not something that they can compete with. It's simply going to be a better price, a better offering, better value, and in a community like South Hadley, which is just now 5 years into this, they are already at a 53% adoption rate throughout the entire town. And I think with Longmeadow, we would see something that's comparable or maybe even better. And so for folks in Longmeadow, this is I think going to be annoying that we're going to continue to see this. But I think if folks have questions about what's going on or what's planned, to just please reach out to the select board, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Either of you? Okay, nothing from me today. Thank you, guys. If we can move on then to the town manager's report.
Thank you. So several meetings ago, you had a presentation from our consultants who were hired for the Cooley Brook project, and they spoke about the next phase, and we had applied for an MVP grant to fund that next work at Cooley Brook, and unfortunately we were not successful in that application. We do have a meeting with the grant overseers in a couple weeks to talk about our application and what we could potentially do to strengthen it for the future. Sidewalk and road related updates. There's a lot of work going on, as anybody who's driven through town has noticed. Longmeadow Street, and converse, water and sewer work is continuing. Slip lining of the sewer has started and sewer line replacement where needed. Much of that has been night work to avoid heavy traffic during daytime hours. Road resurfacing is being done by Caracas and Palmer Paving. They've been on Long Meadow Street doing restoration and driveway work on Shaker, and sidewalk removal and installation is going to take place on Bel Air this week. The second round of paving begins the week of 9/15. Town sidewalks went out to bid. That's what I spoke about at a previous meeting, but bids are now due on the 4th, and a work schedule will be developed after the contract is awarded. This work will likely carry over to spring of 2026. And Eversource is also, through their contractor, NPL, doing work along the area of the town green, and they're hoping to finish that as quickly as possible. They've told us they will not occupy the road on the east side of the green, but there's some work that they will need to do on the northbound lane of Long Meadow Street. They will work around school pickup and drop-off times, and then they also have another project, which is a Class 2 gas leak at Long Meadow Street and Converse Street intersection. This will also be night work and will start on or after September 5th, and they need to avoid our contractor, Ludlow Construction, who's also working in that same area. And all of what I just said for scheduling is subject to weather and any construction unknowns that come up. And MassWorks infrastructure grant update. In November of '24, I had announced that we had received our first ever MassWorks grant in the amount of $285,000. As a reminder, this grant will fund essential intersection and roadway design improvements from the Redfern Drive and Williams intersection to the intersection of Williams, Bliss Court, and Bliss Road. The design will include upgrades to create more accessible and safe environment for motorists and pedestrians. It encourages foot traffic and promotes local businesses in keeping with the goals of the renewed Complete Streets policy. The project's also going to address stormwater management issues that we already know are plaguing that area, specifically during heavy rain events. Initial design drafts are going to be reviewed by the town staff, and then we're going to set up opportunities to gather public input on those drafts. We're just shy of having 25% design documents completed, and then after getting that public input, it will be incorporated where feasible into the drafts, and then we will work with our design contractor, Fuss & O'Neill, to submit documents to fund construction in the next MassWorks grant round. And then lastly, town offices will be closed on Wednesday, September 17th for a full day of professional development training. Some programs will remain open at the Adult Center, including the daily meal service. Training is going to include a session on civility in the workplace, cultivating courtesy, reduce rudeness, and create a healthy work environment. And we will also have a presentation from our Employee Assistance Program on mental health, and a legal update and training from the town's Labor Council on sexual harassment and discrimination. That concludes my report tonight. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
All right, thanks, Lynn. So on the MVP, I was obviously saddened to see that that grant didn't get accepted. And I remember from that presentation that the idea would be to fund this all with grants if we could. When this is a great example, they don't always go through. When we are looking at that project going forward, would it be, would we get a grant for the first third of the work and then we can't fund the other 2/3, or are the grants for complete projects like pieces of it? So we're not leaving things undone?
A little of both, and it depends on the type of project. If there's some that we can do phased approaches to, we would do that. We have been successful in patchworking grant funding together before. On this project, it might be a little difficult because so much of it is specifically construction, but once we meet with MVP next week, I'll have a better idea. And then also Fuss & O'Neill have been great partners in identifying other grant opportunities that we can easily submit for. So we've done it once, so it's not a heavy lift to, change some pieces of the application and resubmit for something else.
Okay, so this isn't the end of the story.
Right.
Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else? Vinny?
In regards to the MassWorks infrastructure grant for Williams Redfern corner, have we received any information, or is there any coordination with the Colvis Group about their plans for that property and us kind of, being able to redo that intersection before they have that fully developed?
Yes, so one of the reasons we were successful in applying for the MassWorks grant is because of that development that's on the horizon. They wrote a support letter for our application, as did the Long Meadow Shops. And so it's integral to being a successful application to have an economic development corridor as part of that, and then having support from those businesses is key. We would not do anything without keeping in mind what's happening at the shops and at certainly Big Y, but also the Williams Place Mall and the Colvest parcel that's going to be redeveloped. There is a traffic study that's about to start for that section of town related to the related to the redevelopment plans. And so all of this will work in concert with each other.
Okay. Thank you.
Just a quick thing to update residents. You told me offline, but some people have been wondering about the consultant's report on the town buildings. Some people have asked me, they thought it would be out by the end of August. Do you mind just explaining what's when they can be expected?
Yeah, so thanks for asking. We had originally planned to have it by the end of August. The consultant reached out to DPW last week and asked for 2 more weeks. So we should have a draft to us by the end of next week, which will likely require us to review it and then provide some feedback or comments before it's considered final. And then it would come to you for a presentation, which likely would be sometime in October.
Anybody else? Thank you, Lynn. Moving on to approval of meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the August 18th, 2025 minutes as amended by any changes made by members?
So moved.
Second.
Anything further? All those in favor? And we have a motion to approve the August 19th, 2025 remote special meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Anything, or all those, I'm sorry, nothing further? All those in favor? Great. Next, moving on to the September 9th, 2025 special town meeting discussion. Ms. Townsend, please come up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Rebecca Townsend, 160 Ely Road, Town Moderator. I am very excited about the meeting that is going to occur on Tuesday, September 9th at 7 p.m. If I may, I'd like to share some of the preparations that I've been doing with the town manager's office and the school department to give folks an idea of what they can expect, what will be the same, and what will be different. We are expecting a large turnout for this meeting. The last time we had a school vote was in 2010, and we had over 2,400 participants at the meeting. We have about 1,000 more voters than we did at that time. And so we can expect closer to 3,000 people at the meeting. Because of these expectations, we've had to make some adjustments to the way we normally do things so that participants are comfortable, that they are able to enter and get seated as quickly as possible, and that we can get to our business promptly at 7 o'clock. Doors will open at 5 p.m. People are encouraged to come early, and there will be baked goods available for those who do arrive. Some booster clubs in town for the schools have agreed to sell some goodies. And there will be music provided by young people throughout the school. So when you wait, you'll be able to have some food, you'll be able to enjoy some music. As you enter, you will not use the main entrance. The big difference for this meeting is that you're going to enter through the pool entrance. This is on Grassy Gutter Road. It is akin to a side entrance. So as you're facing the high school, it's to the left. The reason that we're using the pool entrance is because we anticipate there will be a significant line, and we'd like as much of that line to be indoors in case of inclement weather. There will be ushers greeting people at that main entrance and asking people to turn to the right if they're headed to check in. At 6 p.m., there will be a little voters lounge available for young people who are pre-registered to go to that lounge. Those parents or guardians will take a left, drop children off, and then return back in line. They will head toward the library. The check-in desks will not be in front of the auditorium as they usually are. They'll be in front of the library. And this allows for a straight line straight through. And much like many retail shops do, where there's cashier number 1 is available for you, and you're directed to a particular cashier, we will have an usher say, okay, poll pad number 1 is ready. Go to poll pad number 2. Go to poll pad number 7. We will have double the number of poll pads, and I'm grateful to the town clerk for that planning. We're aiming to keep that area in front of the clerk's staff as clear as possible so everyone can hear easily enough, and there's not a mad rush for people, trying to keep it orderly. The folks who get their voting credentials, the electronic voting devices that we have, and for those who have not been to town meeting in quite some time or who have never been, you should know that we are voting by electronic devices about the size of a credit card, where you'd press 1 for yes and 2 for no. And your vote is recorded and tallied with other votes close to immediately. So it allows for some privacy in the voting. So you'll get your voting device, it'll be on a lanyard, you'll put that on, and ushers will direct you to the gymnasium. We will have people stationed at the door of the gymnasium. There will be 1 door open, not 2 doors as normally, because we're trying to make sure that we are staying within the fire code regulations for how many people are in each room. So there will be somebody counting, roughly counting as much as possible, not just the voters, but the people who are entering, because there may be some people entering with some non-voters. And we'll count the amount of people. Once we get close to 1,100 thereabouts, we will open up an overflow room. After the gym is filled, we'll direct people to the overflow room, the first overflow room. If that gets filled, we'll direct them to overflow room number 2. If that gets filled, overflow room number 4, or 3, 4, 5, etc. down the line. We only open up those overflow rooms when the other rooms are filled, because we want to make sure that there's a careful accounting of who is where. There will be assistant moderators in each of those overflow rooms. They will be sworn in and have all the powers and duties of an assistant moderator according to Mass General Law, and I am training every one of them. So there will be 2 assistant moderators in each room and a support person for them in that room, and the rooms will be connected with audio and visual. By law, only audio is required, but we are making an effort to make sure that people can see what is going on in those other rooms as well. So that's the flow of people into the area. We have some accommodations that we'll need to make in speaking. After the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, I want to note that if there is a significant line, I am not going to accept a motion. I will have a small recess of about 15 minutes to see if we can't process the people who are in that line promptly. So there may or may not be a pause at the very start of the meeting, because I'd like for as many people to be in the rooms as possible. That said, we do have to get on with things. And so I really do encourage people to arrive early if they are able to. We will hear a main motion from the chair of the school committee. We will hear a speech in favor. We will hear a recommendation from this board, the select board, from the finance committee. We will hear from the opposition group to this article. They will have equal time as well. And then the floor will be open for discussion. Familiar town meeting voters know that we have a microphone in favor, a microphone for questions and motions, and a microphone for those who are speaking in opposition. We will have that, but I will note that we must allow for a rotation among the different overflow rooms. So if we have people in overflow room number 1, I will ask if there are any speakers who, where we are in that turn, if we're speaking in favor, opposed, et cetera. If there's any speakers in that room, the assistant moderator will ask the folks in that room, and they will come to the front at that point, state their name and address, and then they will be able to speak from that room.
Can I just ask a question
Yeah.
now? Is there video between the rooms of the speakers in the different rooms?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And this is where I again thank the town staff for their amazing collaboration. It has been a lot of work, and it's not gone unnoticed. There are still some more details to be fine-tuned. However, we're confident in this plan. We have a backup for this if this fails to work or if there's errors, if there's problems. When it comes time for a vote, I will note that we have receivers for the voting devices in different locations. And yet, what I have heard from other moderators who use Meridia and from Meridia themselves, they are the makers of the technology, that when there is a large meeting, that it takes some time to allow for all of those votes coming in at once to connect with the receivers. It doesn't mean you vote more than once, you just vote that one time, and the signal will be sent to the receivers. To ensure that we capture them all, I'm going to be leaving the vote open. So once I say the vote is now open, then people may press yes or no. If they do that before I open the vote, it won't be received. Once I open the vote, I will leave the vote open for about 3 minutes. Yes. Depending on whether we are using a particular overflow room that is some distance, we will have to get the tally from that receiver and add it to the one in the gymnasium and the main overflow rooms. So, and I will let folks know whether we have to do that or not. But I would caution folks that if that is the case where we have to have this separate set of receivers that are not connected to the main, the main room, that I will say, this is a subtotal. We're going to add the other one in to get the final total. And I'll announce what the vote is. Then we'll have a motion to dissolve, and I'll ask for people's orderly dismissal through any exit they find. And they can go home and have a good night. I'd like to address any questions or concerns that you have, but first, let me thank you for your collaboration as well.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all your hard work and everyone's hard work on this. I wasn't here for the high school vote. I was here for the COVID outdoor meeting, which seemed like that was an undertaking. But this seems like a whole new ballgame. I had a few questions. One is the logistics of parking, which I know that. Do we have LPD there to help with crossing? I know that, I don't remember which meeting it was, it might have been last fall, that people were late and could not the parking lot filled up, no problem. People are parking down the street. Do we have any, are we directing people anywhere, or is there any thought, or what are the thoughts behind that? Because there could be a lot of people. I'll probably walk, but.
We encourage walking.
Yeah. So I guess that's the first.
Biking.
Yeah. So that's the first piece of it.
Yes.
But for those who do want to drive, what
I
do
have
we
looked
think?
into shuttle buses, but we don't have those available. I was looking into them from the senior center, but that's not available. And I will ask for the town manager's assistance with regard to the specifics on police.
Yeah. So staff, volunteers, anyone attending that's really familiar with town meeting will ask to park in the lot behind the high school, close to the track. That'll absorb a good bit of space. And then certainly if you have ability to park at Blueberry School and walk over, and police will be assisting on site that day for traffic. We will be putting up no parking signs along one side of Grassy Gutter so that we can make sure we maintain access for vehicles or emergency personnel as well. But yes, we are anticipating a very large turnout that will likely have some just strain with what we're used to.
Okay. And my next question is on, when we first were starting with the clickers, to make people understand the system and to feel good about their vote counting, we did audits. Are you doing audits for the different rooms?
So with an audit, we would be auditing the system. So we would have somebody from that room. We would pick a number that of the clicker that is probably in one of those other rooms. The way that we're structuring things will allow us to determine that. So yes.
All right, great. And then my last one is more of a town meeting time question, I guess. Are there limits? I know on amendments we have the 5-4-5 against same rule. Are there limits on amendments, or is it if you, let's say, I know you can rule things out of order, but if an amendment comes up and then a slightly tweaked amendment comes up, or is there a limit on how many times those can be brought, or is that up to your judgment? Like this amendment has already been discussed or something like that?
So I think if I'm correct, you were talking about a motion to call the question with 5 and 5, or you're talking about amendments?
Right. I know I've heard from people that there is interest in amending on the floor, which we can't. It's essentially no vote.
I would encourage anyone, if they are considering any kind of amendment, to contact me yesterday. As soon as humanly possible, write to me, call me, let me know what any proposed motion that you'd like to make on anything, particularly an amendment, would be. In this particular case, we have a unique situation in which many amendments would be out of order. I'm going to be speaking with somebody at the MSBA regarding this, and I'll be speaking with town council to confirm. However, there is a almost minute level of possible amendments that one could make without making this a kind of a virtually impossible matter to go forward without protracted litigation or problems for the town.
Right. Yeah, we talked about it at our last middle school meeting, and the conclusion there, at least it was from somebody from Fontaine Brothers who's at these votes a lot, and then correct if I'm wrong, and he said if there's any change, it's a no vote. It will not.
Not according to their literature. In reading a PDF that I received it was from the MSBA, but it was sent to me, there's a discouragement of amendments. While not impossible, they're close to impossible.
Okay.
It would have to be worded just so, and on a very, very, very small range of potential topics. And so chances are it would be ruled out of order if it's something that's thought up on the fly. That's why I would encourage people, seek the advice in advance. I do not disclose to anyone What a proposed amendment is, I keep that very close to the vest, precisely because I want to encourage people to come forward, to let me know, hey, I'm planning on doing this at town meeting. What's the process? How would you rule? I want to make a very important, something very clear. The moderator's ruling at town meeting is final. There may be some who perceive that town council has authority over this. That is not so. Town council does not serve town meeting. He serves the select board and has absolutely no authority over the moderator. The courts have consistently found that as long as a moderator is trying to do something with good interests, they're not trying to be malicious, they're not trying to be harmful, that the moderator's ruling almost always stands. And so that's in court precedent after court precedent. I have also consulted with fellow moderators in the Mass Moderators Association regarding MSBA and amendments. And so I'm feeling on very confident ground here when I'm reporting to you that there is a very, very, very small range of possible amendments. I would not accept something that's just on the fly. And depending on what the scope of the amendment is, I may rule it out of order, and it then becomes a waste of time.
Great. Thank you very much. Andrew?
Just because it's never a bad idea to think of worst case scenario. I was wondering, if technology fails us,
Yep.
like has this company ever had total glitches where things fall apart? In medicine, it happens not infrequently where the electronic medical record goes down and you're like, my bad day just got terribly worse. So do we have any contingencies, like if we had to do some sort of hand or paper vote where, whether we have the cards where we raise our hands and count or even little ballots? I know everything we do is a lot of work and expense, but have we thought about that?
Oh, yes, many times.
Thank you.
And it has been planned for, and I did one training today, I'll do another training tomorrow, and I'll
What
do a
is our
third training on the
contingency?
8th.
Is it just going to be voting cards or like paper?
So first, let me try to reassure you
Thank you.
that the
That's very
electronic
unlikely.
voting devices are a secure and effective means of voting. They are accurate. The company itself will be there that night
Okay.
to troubleshoot any, heaven forbid, issues that crop up. If there is something catastrophic that even the experts who created the system cannot fix within a reasonable time frame, we will switch to one of two methods. There is the card raising method. And prior to using electronic voting devices, we used card raising. I had been challenged on a few of my called votes. And what happens in a challenge is we have to do the hand count. In all challenged votes, my calls were upheld. So I'm confident in my ability to suss out what is in the room. I am working with assistant moderators who will be working with a much smaller size of people in the room to call out if this is an overwhelming majority, far exceeding 2/3, if this is too close for them to count, or if it's those would be the only options. It's overwhelming, or it's too close for me to call. And based on their findings, we would either immediately go to a paper ballot situation, or the counting one by one. My preference is counting the row by row, but people do like the privacy of paper ballot. And so if someone made a motion for that, it would take significantly longer to do than a standing count, or it's old-fashioned called a standing count, but a raised card row by row count. I don't anticipate those.
So are you actually printing paper ballots in case we have to use them?
We've always had them.
We have them, like a
Yes.
stock of them? basically.
Yes.
Okay.
We always have them for any town meeting.
Okay, great.
And I have been assured by the town clerk that we have sufficient for this
Great.
case.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
It's impressive.
It's a lot of work, and I appreciate the collaboration. If I may add a couple of items, one I forgot to mention. We usually have questions that are offered. I would like to make sure that voters know that questions will be limited to 1 minute. So if you have a question or have multiple questions, you will ask them all at once within 1 minute. So that means there's no preface. You will come immediately to your question. If I don't hear a question, I will ask you to come directly to the question. If you fail to do that, I will ask you to sit down. So I want people to be direct, to ask their questions. We're not going to have a back and forth. It will be asking your questions. If you don't get the answer to your question, you should consider that the person did not answer your question thoroughly and make your judgment based on that. And we do have a bylaw regarding when a motion to call the question. This is what I thought you were getting at earlier. I cannot accept a motion to end debate prior to at least 5 people speaking in favor and 5 people speaking against. Questions and answers do not count toward that tally. So that's important to keep in mind.
I remember that bylaw because I got it wrong at our last meeting, and you shamed me.
I wouldn't have done that to you.
Well, I felt ashamed.
Oh, that's different. But you remembered it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it now.
So, we do have this bylaw in place, and I will say at the very beginning some of the housekeeping rules. If people would like to extend debate, they can make a motion to do that as well. So it's people's preference about how long we're talking.
How does the motion to extend debate? Is that you up the numbers, say 10 on each side?
You could do that. You could say for a fixed amount of time, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yep. But I can't accept any motion based on bylaw, and a town meeting vote threshold can only add to it.
But I think that would, like, when you call the question, the group is voting on whether to take it straight to a vote. So that would basically be the determinant. If they wanted to extend the debate, then they just say, we don't want to end debate.
Right.
So that would be.
And it would be a separate motion. If somebody wanted to extend debate, they could start off the meeting with, I say that.
Oh, I see. They can say at the beginning.
Yes.
In advance. Interesting.
Yes. And I always make mention of it in the housekeeping, and it's always kind of a chuckle, because...
Who wants to stay longer, right?
I mean,
You never know.
it is the people's prerogative, so they can do that if they wish.
It sounds like it's very important that we have people know that they should come early, because this whole idea of like, oh, it's 7, let's show up at 7 is going to be a disaster. So I think.
Well, I hope it's not a disaster.
It's going to be a very delayed situation. It'll be like flying these days. It'll be just a headache. So,
Yeah.
I mean, do you suggest maybe telling people, like, if we speak just with one voice, like, are we suggesting people come an hour, a half an hour early? Like,
Well,
as
if you
early
tell
as
everybody to come
possible?
at 6, then 6 becomes a chaotic point. I mean, it's come early.
Yeah.
Come early. If doors open at 5, again, there'll be food, there'll be music to keep you entertained.
Yeah.
Have a date night, the town meeting. Enjoy the seats of the gymnasium from comfort. This is a pretty impressive feat that the town is dedicating itself to working through difficult problems to ensure that people get their voices heard. And I appreciate you as elected officials, as my partners in helping to make sure that happens. I appreciate Lynn and Mike and the town clerk and all of the other staff, those involved in the Litter Voters League. I especially thank the volunteers. I've asked for more volunteers, and they stepped up. This builds community, it builds issue knowledge, and it builds consensus around a decision. And when a decision is made, it is the result of many people coming together to make that decision. It may make you happy, it may make you sad, but it's the voice of the town. And so I appreciate you playing the role that you do in the legislative function of our town government in ensuring our direct democracy works. And I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday, the 9th.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
All right, so next up on the agenda, we have a position statement on the middle school building project. And I hope everyone was able to take a look at this. It's very short, if not. So to date, the school committee and the finance committee have both voted on whether they support it or not, Article 1 of the special town meeting. Vineet suggested that we put on the agenda for us to vote, which I think was a good idea. And we ran it by, no, wait, no, you didn't. No, you wondered if we could. No. I did something else. The opposite. Yeah. Well, thanks anyway. So I put this on here, and Lynn and I just talked with town council about whether this is permissible, because generally, I think that, at least in my mind, we put things on the town meeting warrant, and whether we support it or not is not always clear. I think it's implied a lot that we support it because it's on. But we asked town council whether we could do this, and the answer was yes. The answer was we could even use our resources to promote it, which we don't have any resources necessarily, so we haven't. So I thought that we'd put on the agenda, we can vote, and people in town can hear from us on and state our position and can vote on this. So, Peggy, if you want to pull this up from the agenda.
There it is. Share screen.
This one.
There we go.
One more down.
One more down.
Yeah, right below that. Yeah, right there. 9, 8. Yep. And the reason I wrote this out today is because normally when the finance committee takes a position on a warrant article on a big issue, a big ticket issue especially, they will read a statement. So I thought that I would draft this, and of course we can make changes if anybody wants. So I'll just read it out. Long Meadow Select Board supports Consolidated Middle School, dated today. The Long Meadow Select Board supports funding the construction of Consolidated Middle School at the site of the current Williams Middle School. Both Williams Middle School and Glenbrook Middle School are nearing the end of their useful lives and will require costly repairs in the future, which will inhibit the town's ability to maintain or exceed level services. Constructing one consolidated middle school is significantly more cost-effective than renovating both schools, can be done in a more timely fashion, and has educational and operational benefits. The Long Meadow Select Board therefore recommends Article 1 of the September 9th, 2025 special town meeting. If we want a motion, we can discuss it after, or we can discuss now. So it's up to everyone, the rest of the board. But I would entertain a motion to adopt this statement and recommend Article 1 of the September 9th, 2025 special town meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, yeah.
Dan and Shelley.
I can't tell which one's coming first. All right, so we'll move on to discussion. Andrew, go ahead.
I think this is a really momentous occasion. I think everyone here is taking it very seriously. I'm very proud of our town and grateful to everyone who's worked to get us to this point over the many years, especially everyone on the middle school building committee, including Armand Ray, Josh as well. Thank you, and everyone on your committee for putting all this work in over the years to get us to this important vote. I think that, it's very important that we recognize there are definitely valid points to both sides of this issue. I do see some things on Facebook that sadden me in the sense that like people are kind of making it personal, but I think that both sides absolutely have valid points. I absolutely support this project, even though I know how expensive it's going to be. It's going to be very expensive, and all of us will make sacrifices for that. I think that there's, no matter what anybody says, there are downsides. There's going to be traffic along Williams that's greater than it is now. But on balance, when you look at the whole picture and what this can do for our town and our kids, it's not that hard a decision, in the sense that this problem is not going to go away. If you vote no, it's not going to, the problem of these middle schools needing to be improved is not going away. We are getting $50 million from the state that will go away if we don't avail ourselves of it. I think that, if we make this middle school, the reputation of Longmeadow will be, people will be coming here, will be even more motivated to come here. We'll definitely see that demand in our home values, and it will just, it's just going to be something we can be really proud of. I've been here for the high school, the adult center, the DPW, and I look at this high school and I remember what it was like before. And I think we still look at it and we're so proud of it. I mean, it's something that everyone sees, and we can all be very proud that we have this. Even if our kids don't go here, it's something I think our town, I've sensed our town is very proud of. And I think that if we say no, we'll be spending a great deal of money kind of patching up the schools we have, that I really do not think this town is going to stand for those continuing for more than a decade. It's not; these schools are not going to be here for 50 years, which a new middle school would. So those are the kinds of things I have balanced in my own personal calculus, and I am glad that we're reaching this point, and I'm appreciative of everyone who's helped us get here. I respect those who may have a difference of opinion, but on balance, that's the way I view it.
Dan?
Thank you. And good points, Andrew. I've thought a lot about this issue, but from very, very early on, to me, it's a no-brainer. Someone who grew up in town and went to the schools, and all the way from center school to the high school, I got to see and witness a lot of different projects over the years, whether it was the connection over at center school and then the new high school as well. But to me, this is all about opportunities for our students, for our teachers, for the town. If we think about the possibility of what we can have in a town like Longmeadow, where we're really stuck when it comes to taxes and raising money, we have an opportunity here, an exciting project at Glenbrook as well. So that opens up that opportunity for everyone across town. It also, as I mentioned, for our students. Currently, there's a ton of inefficiencies with Williams and Glenbrook, and safety issues. We've all toured the schools. Some of us have attended these schools. And if you look at Glenbrook, there's really a large amount of safety concerns just walking into that building. You see all the crazy headlines that are going on across the United States, and it's hard not to think about safety issues for our students. So to me, that's paramount. Also, if you look at Williams, there's fire suppression issues. The same parts of the Williams Middle School building exist from when I was there, and it's in need of repair. So to Andrew's point, the funds that we're going to be getting from the state, this is an opportunity that we don't get every single year. If we wait down the road, number one, we might not get the funding. Number two, the school project is going to cost so much money that we might not be able to have this opportunity. So for me, it's a no-brainer, but at the same point, I do respect everyone's input on both sides. I think these can become very heated issues. People get very passionate about these issues, but to me, I think it just makes sense for Longmeadow, and we value our education significantly. And overall, when this is all said and done, hopefully we have that consolidated school, and I think all of the members of the town or residents are going to benefit greatly for the new school with the efficiencies that it's going to bring across the town. And to Andrew's point about the traffic, I'm not so sure that there is going to be more traffic there. I feel that based on designs and the layouts and talking with folks that have been doing the actual research, that currently the school is designed in a way that is difficult for traffic and drop off, but they've really thought through this to make sure that we're going to ease traffic concerns while having a school that our children and teachers can truly thrive in moving forward. So in closing, 100% on board with this project. I want to thank Josh Levine as well on our board for all the time, the commitment you put, not just on the select board, but also for the school building committee, and Mr. Ray, who's here as well, the chairman of the committee, and Marty O'Shea and the school committee. I just really want to thank everybody for everything, all the effort they put into this. It's not something that just happens overnight. It's many years, many conversations. So with that being said, I think this is an opportunity that we should really be taking advantage of, and I want to thank everyone for their participation, and please show up even if you're opposed to the project. I'm for it. I'm one vote, but I really hope that we get everyone out here from the town to have your voices heard. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Just to be clear, I'm not against this position statement. I was just, when I saw it on the agenda, I was just questioning whether the select board could take the step, and after talking to Josh and understanding that was vetted by town council and everything, I was obviously completely fine with it. I'm also would be happy to support this position statement and support the new middle school project. The vote on Tuesday, a week from now, is about consolidation. It's about one middle school, but to just kind of talk, and it's not about renovation and renovating the two schools at all. It's just about one school. But to think about renovating these two middle schools, the state that they're in, where they currently stand, to me is just not a realistic option for the amount of money it would cost, for the amount of disruption it would cost in the years to come. And for an example, you could just take a look at what we talked about at our meeting, at our last select board meeting. Most of the Long Meadow High School was, a new build. The pool was a renovation, and at our last meeting, we were just talking about how the pool is going to cost $350,000 for us to repair, how it disrupted a whole swim season and was really close to disrupting a second swim season. And if you are going to be trying to renovate these buildings that are already 60 years old, these are just the kinds of things that you're going to see over and over and over again. And that is not the type of schooling that our children deserve. That is not what our town deserves. And we have this great opportunity right now. I know that $100 million for the town sounds like a lot, but this is really a great opportunity with us getting upwards of $50 million from the state towards this project. And I think at one of the recent middle school building committee meetings, or maybe the school committee meeting, Fontaine Brothers shared some of the data with other towns that had this opportunity with MSBA funding that failed. And in those towns where the vote failed, they still have not, most of those towns still have not gotten new schools or have not renovated those schools. And they really missed out on these opportunities and are way worse off now because they did not take advantage of that opportunity. And I really hope that in a week, this town does take advantage of this opportunity. And to think too that this is a project where we might be opening doors to a new middle school in 3 years. I mean, that is something that is, very exciting and something that will be transformational for our town. And then also all the people that have, all the work that's gone into this has been mentioned. Mr. Ray's here, Josh, other members of the middle school building committee who have spent so much of their own time. Despite some of the things that have been said, there has been such due diligence throughout this whole process. sometimes I get sick of hearing about some of these details because it has been, it has really, we've gone through every single step. There has been so many presentations, so many tours, and there has been a tremendous amount of work by resident volunteers towards this project, and it has really been such an encouraging thing to see. And then also with town meeting next week, I just wanted to also say thank you to all of our town staff, to our moderator, to our town manager, and I definitely agree with what the town moderator said, in that it's so uplifting to see the town dedicate so many resources to make sure that every resident that wants to participate can participate, and that their voice will be heard for such a consequential decision for our town.
Sure.
Thank you. Newest member on the board, I wasn't here for all of it, and I won't reiterate what my colleagues have just said, but I do agree and support the statement from the select board. I also personally support the funding of the consolidated middle school. I think it's absolutely vital and crucial for the town of Longmeadow and for the future of our town. I'm also really encouraged and excited by the vote coming up on the 9th. I think we'll have a big turnout, which is great. It means a lot of people care, and a lot of people care about our town. Regardless of how the vote turns out, I do want to thank everyone who's gotten us to this point. I think there's a lot of important information that's been shared, and I just wanted to say thank you, and I am in support of this.
Thank you. I'm glad everyone, my fellow members, have been paying as much attention as I have to this. You all spoke really well on this, and it shows that you are hearing from people and having conversations, and really have weighed the arguments that we're hearing, and that really, I have been steeped in this, Armin have been steeped in this, but everyone in town is really paying attention to this, and I think that that's fantastic, as our town moderator mentioned, it really, I've never experienced something like this, where everyone in town is really talking about something. There may be bits and pieces, but not like this, and I'm incredibly proud of my work on the middle school building committee, and it's a fantastic group that has really worked incredibly hard on this, and Linda's also a voting member on it, and we've spent just an incredible amount of time making sure that we're doing this right. I'm not an educational expert. There's been talk about that. The school committee's talked about that a lot. But what I think, when you're considering this, if you're on the fence, there's 20 minutes of our last meeting, the last middle school building committee meeting, towards the beginning, where we talked about what could happen if this doesn't pass. And it's really, to me, the most important moment was not, we can't renovate. That's not a question here. And I think that's been discussed a lot by my fellow members. What the biggest moment to me was, what happens if we vote no? Because it's not, like Vineet mentioned, do we go right back into getting a renovation? Absolutely not. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Maybe not. I asked at the last meeting, well, Nick Jorganthus, our facilities director, what happens if what's our cost going to be if we just leave the schools as is? And the blood just drained out of his face, because we cannot even guess how much it'll cost. The schools need new roofs. They always need HVAC upgrades. Some things will keep breaking. These schools were not meant to last for 100 years. They've reached the end of their useful life, and we will keep spending money on this, and it is not, we're lucky now that we have the opportunity to make a one-time payment that we're getting roughly a third of it back from the state for money that we already paid, by the way, as part of our sales taxes, but we are able to do it in one fell swoop, and to spend that money now and have it as outside of Prop 2.5. So it's money that we can do in one fell swoop that we will pay over time, but otherwise we are going to make those repairs for out of our operating budget. And as anyone on this board can tell you, we do not have room in our operating budget for $10 million a year, $5 million 1 year. Absolutely not. That's what will happen. The roofs, the two of them together that's a $10 million project. If we had to absorb that into our operating budget, we couldn't. We'd have to bond it out. We would not exempt it. It would be part of our, we'd have to pay interest on it as we go forward. It would cripple us. And everything else aside, that is the reality of what a no vote means. It means we would continue putting Band-Aids on these aging buildings, and it would cripple us. There are lots of other reasons, but I think that is what I keep coming back to as someone who every year has to look at our budget and say, wow, we're fighting to get level service again, and that's not something we'll be able to do. So thank you to everyone for their comments, and you can watch plenty of other meetings where I blather on about this stuff, so I'll stop talking, but and we'll go to a vote. So all those in favor of the motion? All right, yes, thank you, everyone. Moving on next to Select Board Liaison Assignments. So we don't have that.
Contract.
Oh, wow, did I skip two things? Yeah. Springfield Water and Sewer Commission, 7th Agreement Extension. Lynn, go ahead, please.
Thanks. So this is pretty much a standard renewal at this point. As you can see, you're on your 7th. This has changed over the last 2 renewals in that it's coming to you. In looking at this 2 years ago, it had come to the DPW, different directors had signed off on it. I think potentially town managers had signed off on it, but really this is an agreement between the Select Board as the Water Sewer Commission and Springfield Water and Sewer Commission to supply us with water. Again, it's just a renewal off of the original agreement, and we have talked with Springfield Water and Sewer about revising the full agreement itself, but that is something that is a much bigger project to tackle, and they only want to pursue amendments right now.
And so what happens if we don't enter into this amendment?
Eventually, we could potentially not have a water supply. This is where we get our water supply from. That would be the most extreme.
Sure, but they have us fairly stuck, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Andrew?
So just so I understand, the only thing changing is like we're renewing it basically.
Correct.
There's no terms that are changing.
Right.
So how often are these amendments necessary?
Every year.
Okay.
We're on a year-to-year.
And you've requested 3 years or?
Yep. And a full update.
So it's been 7 years since the last substantial agreement.
Yes, I think it could be longer.
That was like changed
Yeah.
or significantly
Which
new.
predates all of us, including Lynn.
Yep.
So is this something that could theoretically be helped by the legislation going through on an advisory committee?
I would think so. I can't imagine it would hurt it.
Yeah.
Lynn, do we know if other towns are asking for full revisions as well? Because I would imagine we're not the only town.
I don't know, but that's a great question.
Because I'm wondering if we could collaborate with other towns to maybe apply a little more pressure to get that agreement looked at.
Yeah, great question. I'll find out.
Thank you.
Is it odd that it's dated the 22nd of May? And not more
A lot
close
of
to
this
the date?
is
It's fine.
odd.
Boilerplate.
And we're already halfway through.
Yeah.
Well, not halfway, but getting closer to halfway through. I mean, we're operating already as if this has
Yeah.
been signed.
Okay.
All right, so I will move to authorize the town manager to sign the 7th Amendment to the Town of Long Meadow Water Supply Agreement on behalf of the Town of Long Meadow.
Second.
Any further? All those in favor? Thank you. Next, we have revisions to Select Board Rules and Procedure. So we discussed this in June, I think.
Yeah.
And we talked through live, and Mike and Peggy kept notes, and now there has been some changes based on our last discussion. So are there any other, does anyone have anything else to say on this? Go ahead.
No, I think that Mike and Peggy, you all did a good job of capturing what our discussion was at the last meeting, and I think taking a look at it, I feel like it accurately reflected the changes that we had asked for from the last meeting, so I feel comfortable with where it's at now.
Yeah, to my mind, really, this whole thing was a cleanup, except I changed the order of the agenda. And there are some things that I don't think we'll notice here and there. And if you remember, I also just wanted us to look at this again because, for instance, we're supposed to give a copy to new members, and I think it would be helpful for that to happen in the future. So, but yeah, I agree. It accurately covered what we talked about, our concerns. So if there's nothing else, entertain a motion to adopt the amended Long Meadow Select Board Rules of Procedure.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Anything further on this? Okay. All those in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Moving on to, I'm worried I'm getting it wrong again. All right, so now we're on Select Board Liaison assignments. Okay, so I notice I have the most. And Shelley's a little light.
Yep.
So
Let me take something.
So we have Building Demolition Committee, we have discussion on that, as well as, are there any discussions?
Yeah, I asked Mike what that was today. Couldn't recall exactly. This is a very inactive group.
Yes.
The demolition delay committee?
Yes.
I do know about that because it would sometimes come up with historical district commission things. It's essentially if there's a building that is a certain age,
Yep.
like prior, like a century or 1920 or something, it cannot be demolished or we get a permit for demolishment unless it's been approved by the demolition delay committee. That committee does not have the right to stop a resident from demolishing a building, but could delay it. I believe it's like 6 months or something like that, with the hope that if it's a historic structure, that efforts would be, it would give people more time or more just motivation to hopefully find a way of preserving it. Whether it's like, sometimes like if it's a barn in town, it could maybe somebody would buy it and move it or something like that. So it has been very rare, but it has met in the past. I mean, if that's something, I'd be happy to add that to mine. It's not a big burden or anything.
No,
I know something about it, but
I was mostly tongue-in-cheek when I was talking about numbers, but Michelle, is there anything you're interested in that anyone else has?
I mean, there's a couple that are interesting to me. If anyone wants to take any off, I mean, I have experience with Conservation Commission. I also think the DEI Advisory Committee, Planning Board, Board of Assessors. I mean, if there's anything anyone has.
I think DEI would be a good one for you to take on, especially if you have some more corporate background than I do. That might be helpful. And I think there's...
And I attend those meetings as well that the committee has, just as a resident, so I find them interesting. So
I think that would be great if we move that over.
Thanks.
DEI?
Yeah,
Thanks,
and I was
Maggie.
just going to say that mine is also, I think, on the lighter side. I talked to Lynn about this. Some of the task forces, like the Municipal Fiber Task Force, and I think there's a number of other task forces that are listed on our website, are defunct at this point, and I think maybe at a future meeting we just have to take a vote to kind of officially close them down to just kind of get everything cleaned up. But I think that leaves me with 4 assignments too. So happy to take something else on as well.
All right.
The Cable Advisory Committee does not actually even have any members right now, so
Right, yeah.
they don't meet.
Maybe I should stay quiet.
Do you want to take assessors?
Sure, yeah.
That just went through a lot of changes too, so that could be good.
Yeah, I'll take Board of Assessors.
Okay. And then, I don't recall, did we vote on the PVPC, MPO, or PVTA?
I don't believe you voted. We talked about those.
Okay.
You can absolutely do that.
Yeah, and I entertain a motion to appoint Tim Keane to the PVPC Metropolitan Planning Organization as a liaison.
Tim Keane.
So moved.
Second.
Any further? All those in favor? Entertain a motion to appoint Lynn Simmons to the Pioneer Valley Transit Authority as the Select Board liaison.
So moved.
Second.
Any further? All those in favor?
Congratulations, Lynn.
Thank you.
And I believe they both already were attending those meetings, so it is a good natural fit. I think.
I will.
Oh, you will? Okay, great.
Tim has been at all the PVPC, MPO meetings, but Mark Gold had been the select board rep to the PVTA, but I'm happy to take that on. And then the other was Scantic Valley Regional Health Trust.
Oh, okay. He's on there, but he wasn't already appointed.
Right.
Okay. So I entertain a motion to appoint Eden Connington to the Scantic Valley Regional Health Trust as the Select Board liaison.
So moved.
Second.
Any further? All those in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, anything else on this while we have it? No? Great. So Shelley, when you're now that you're appointed, you'll want to reach out and introduce yourself and go to a meeting if you'd like.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question?
Please.
Until the charter change goes through for capital planning, it's technically capital planning, and then another committee is permanent building committee. So is that they're not really meeting right now, but.
Well, hopefully in November.
Yeah.
That'll be fixed, but we can always revisit if we need each other.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was the capital planning liaison, so I'm happy to stay on with that until the charter change goes through.
Beneath, I could probably talk to you and get your little background on that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. So next we have a mobile food vendors on town property policy. I know Mike put this together. Lynn, do you want to introduce it?
Yep. So Mike looked at drafts from other communities and put them kind of all into one. So primarily this is the town of Sharon and the town of Wilbraham, and tweaked it to really kind of meet more of what it seemed like your discussion was centered around. Not that it would be a per event basis or per day basis. It would be more of a blanket annual policy. Some of the communities did require the mobile food vendors to schedule through the select board or the town manager's office each time they were going to be at a different location, and then that office was had the responsibility of making sure there were not more than one truck at a certain place at a certain time. We do not want that. We don't want to be tasked with scheduling that. That seems like a nightmare. And so this is developed more as a overall policy with setting some parameters around it. We both felt like this was a really worthwhile exercise to go through because there's a lot of things in here that we really should have in place. And so it's really just a starting point for you to decide what you want to keep, what you want to edit, or give us some feedback and we can continue to modify it and bring it back to you. Eventually, this may be something we want to craft into a bylaw. Right now, we have it as just a select board policy.
Okay, yeah, I think this is a really, it works really well, I think. And this is a question for the board, and I can see why Mike didn't put it in. One of the things we discussed was, do we want to have it official that there's not two in one spot, or that it's not two of the same type, or given that there's not exactly people pounding down our doors to try to get permits, do we want to do that on a case-by-case basis and let that play out when we get the next application? What do you think, Dan?
Personally, I think we should go based on a case-by-case basis and just let it play out. I think we're still fairly early into just this policy in itself. But yeah, that's just my opinion right now. But I agree with what Lynn was saying on the, like I said last meeting, around the scheduling. I don't think we want to be taking that responsibility up for the town as well. But I'm open to hear what other members want to say.
Yeah, Mike and I talked about this when he was putting it together, and especially at this point, it does not seem worth the time to do that. And even if if there was enough that people said, well, I want Bliss Park this day, I want it that day, I think we could permit people for those days rather than coordinate, because that's not something that you all are busy enough already. I don't think we need that.
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
the part I was looking at, was the permitting part, when you mentioned not kind of, I thought I saw something here that could help us with not having two of the same vendors or two vendors at one spot. I think I was looking at that, section 3, around our ability to permit. Because if I'm thinking of the coffee vendor, like we just had that come before us, how would that help us there, right? Because when we talked to Sokol and Pour Over Coffee, that was one of the stipulations, right? That they couldn't be at the same site.
Well, they're permitted for different sites completely.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking. That's when I saw this section. I think that helps us prevent that.
Yeah.
But to your point, I was trying to go through. I'm thinking out loud mostly of like how we could not put ourselves in a predicament with others applying.
I agree with Dan that I think for right now it'd probably be best to just do this on a case-by-case basis. But I do think this was a worthwhile exercise. This was great to have all this laid out and to know kind of what we should be thinking about and looking at as new permits come in. I also think that because we're at this stage that this should stay as a select board policy for now, we should not move towards turning into a bylaw or anything until there's really a need for that.
I agree.
Okay.
The only question that I have, and maybe Josh or Beneath being lawyers, because we're talking about, it says mobile carts. Sokol Coffee, it's not mobile, right? It's not like Pour Things. And I'm just using the coffee as an example. So would the wording have to change a little bit? And again, this is early stages of like a policy, but just so it applies correctly.
I think it says mobile food vendors in some vehicles, right?
Mobile food vendor then does list out
does say, yeah,
trucks.
So yeah, when you say mobile, to me, it's actually like a truck. It has wheels, but
It does say on foot too under hawker or peddler.
Yeah. Maybe it's worth
Okay, so
speccing
it's
that out a
covered.
little bit more.
Yeah, I think it covers Sokol.
Yeah, I don't want to overthink this. I'm glad we're doing it, and if it becomes an issue, I would love if it became an issue, and then we can address it then. But right now,
Yeah.
my only remaining question, have we heard back? So we issued the Sokol permit.
It was pending LPD approval, but yes,
Has LPD gotten back to us?
not to us. Yeah. It was on them to do it. The motion was made for them. It was pending their, yeah.
Oh, okay. We should check in, because if LPD says Barno parcel's no good for them, we should probably take it out of this. Because my concern for there is not particularly that it's a coffee place, it's just whether it's safe to have anything there. Is this, and the other town properties, one is by the old Rinaldi's, that's town property, but I don't think that would be a good spot. Is the parking lot in front of Mason Tremblay, that's not town property, right?
Some of it may be. The right-of-way likely, it's pretty wide, that area, so I would have to double check, but.
Yeah, that would be the only place I can think of.
So I remember when Pour Things came to us, they had previously gotten permission from the owner of that parking lot to be in that parking lot until they got permission from us to be on town properties.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Great. So this is going to be our select board policy. We do need to have a vote on it. So if anybody would like to move to adopt the mobile food vendors on town property policy.
And this is the first night it's in front of you.
Oh, sorry, you're right.
So you can.
No, well,
That goes against what we just adopted, right?
yes, but it's under old business, so that's how you got me.
Okay.
All right, fine, we'll talk about it next time. I'm ashamed again. Okay.
But sorry, would we be adopting this policy if we're still going to look at this on a case-by-case basis?
Well, yeah, I think so. What I meant by case-by-case basis, and Shelley too, is the competition issue is what we were talking about with Poor Things. So we had 2 coffee places. What if the next time comes up, it's a burrito place? Can we have a burrito place at the same place as a coffee place? Can they both be permanent at Bliss Park? Something like that. That's what I meant by case-by-case basis. I think it is good to have a policy on this so people can look at it and say, okay, and when they
Go to permanent.
call Peggy or Mike, now they have a list of where they can even look.
Roy, what are you thinking, Vinny?
Well, I think, so if we're looking at 3.2, it says, unless specifically approved by the select board, mobile food vendors shall only operate at the following locations. So I think if I were a new food truck coming into town and looking at the policy, I would look at this and say, oh, like the select board is saying that I can be in all these places, just right off the bat. And I think then it would make it more confusing if they were to come before us and then we were to say, oh, well, we can't have a third coffee truck, so we're not going to let you be in these places.
Well, I would, this hypothetical person, I would encourage them to read the entire policy. Yeah, okay.
We might need to clean up some of the language, maybe to make it
Yeah.
a little more.
If we got any edits, I mean, Shell should be May there, I guess.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, well, it's, as has been pointed out to me, this is old business, so, or this is technically new business, so we can talk about it next time. So if there's any edits, we can definitely address it later, and, outdoor selling season is almost over anyway, sadly, but, okay. Anything else on this before we move on? Great. Bottle shop annual liquor license update. Jim, do you want to come on up? So if you could bring us up to date from the town manager's office. We have extended this a number of times, the license. What is our current deadline?
That is a great question. Off the top of my head, I believe it's, I have to go back and look. I know we quickly are approaching renewal season.
Okay, yeah. Mike and I were talking about that today. So, Jim, why don't you tell us your update?
Jim Thomas, 28 Falmouth Road, owner of the bottle shop. I have been in contact with the Punds or a representative of the Punds through my lawyers at my expense since our last meeting, weekly, if not every 10 days. Most has been ignored. They were in China, extended the trip to China, couldn't communicate. Lots of reasons why they have not communicated. As this deadline has drawn near, there has been a flurry of activity. There is a letter of intent that has gone out. It's contradicting everything that we have tried to work for, that I've tried to work for with the buyer and continuing the lease at the Shaker Road Plaza. I think they're ready to talk.
What's happening with the lawsuit?
Waiting for damages. The lawsuit really depends on damages to the Bottle Shop, Inc. And there's not been any damages at this point.
So has it been, well, the case was to honor the lease.
Right.
So tell me what you mean by damages.
At one point, they asked for me to create a lease. Created a new lease. They surveyed it over a 3-week period and didn't respond to that and said that we don't want to deal with James Thomas. They want to deal with the prospective buyer. So the damages would be the not renewal of the license. We're probably getting into thinking about some damages because we won't be able to, anybody won't be able to open a business for the holiday season.
All right.
I have an update. Your June 16th meeting, you moved to extend the liquor license until September 3rd, 2025.
Look at that. Thank you. So I know I'm using my lawyer brain here.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lawsuit to enforce the lease. I'm looking at your docket right now. There's been nothing since January, except for an attorney withdrawing in July. A court has not ruled that the lease has been terminated lawfully, correct?
Correct.
So why are you looking at where is this damages discussion coming from?
That the business would be terminated with the license being turned over to the town.
But no judge has said this lease is no longer valid.
No.
Okay, so I'm probably, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. That doesn't make any sense to me.
And I'm not a lawyer, so I can't, Josh, I really can't answer you clearly, because I don't know.
I understand that. So when I was thinking about this today, and I'll tell the rest of the board, and maybe this is still the case, I want to see, my thought has not changed that I don't want you to get strong-armed here, and I would be willing to continue this on until the case is resolved. Because if a judge says your lease is terminated and that's that, then there's no lease. The license has no home at that point. That hasn't happened yet. I don't know when that's going to happen. There's a pre-trial conference was supposed to be July 25th. I presume that didn't happen.
It did not happen.
So I don't know. This is in limbo, and that happens to cases. It's going to cost you a bunch of money. It's going to cost them a bunch of money to continue going on. I'm not a judge, but judges always imply it's in everyone's best interest to resolve this without continuing on.
Correct.
In court. So I'm lost here. This is not what I expected you to say.
No, I'm not sitting here happily sitting that I've been able to get nothing done.
No, I understand. You're trying.
And this means a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know the numbers that are involved in this.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm not.
Yeah.
Until this gets resolved by somebody, I don't feel comfortable saying, hey, sorry, Jim, too bad. Because as I said, I repeat myself a lot, I don't want the puns to dictate who's the next liquor store owner in Longmeadow. But I feel we are at an intractable problem that I don't understand. And I will also tell you, somebody could make a complaint against the Longmeadow Select Board for allowing this to continue to go on. ABCC doesn't, I don't think anything would come of that, but they could. And so any thoughts from the rest of the board? I'm hogging the floor here.
My only thought is the more that we're talking about this, I don't want to hurt your case, and so I'm kind of hesitant to say much about this because I don't want to open this up into a situation where the other side is listening and you're in a tough spot and vice versa, and I don't feel too comfortable about that. It's a very odd situation that we're in here, and I think you're doing everything that you can on your side, and I don't like the fact that what Josh is saying as well in terms of the the puns essentially like pushing you around as well. So I just feel in a very strange situation as well. That's just...
Yeah, as am I. To answer you, Josh, I guess I could ask the law firm to start looking at the suit and pushing the suit forward and getting a timeline on that and getting that report to you.
Yeah, and this is with Bulkley Richardson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The associate that was handling the case has moved on.
okay. Yeah, you can, a litigator can kick the can or kick the tires on the court. And the court can say, no, thank you, that's fine.
Liz Zuckerman has taken up the case.
Okay. No, and so she can ask to move things along, and the court can say, sure. We'll
She has been more than frustrated in the past.
Okay. So we have a renewal coming up. They have to be signed mid-November?
By the November 30th.
November 30th. I don't know. This is never going to end unless somebody makes it end. And I think that from what I can tell, that's the judge. The court has to rule on this. And I would encourage something to happen before that. I think it's in everyone's best interest. But I don't feel comfortable taking action here without the court weighing in.
Okay.
So that's, and you could lose, you could win and get appealed. It could continue going on.
Right.
But that's where I'm at right now. What do you think, fellow lawyer?
Well, does the lawsuit need to resolve for the puns to sign a lease?
No.
Buy it, right? I mean, it seems like there is some forward momentum right now.
Yeah.
There is some discussion happening.
Absolutely.
And I also agree with Dan that I think sometimes the things that we have said or discussed with you during these meetings has probably harmed your position in negotiating this as a private business owner. And I would be in favor of voting for another extension here. But I just want to get some clarification. So the renewals need to be submitted by November 30th. What with that do we need to consider in providing Mr. Thomas with another renewal? Like, can we only provide him November 30th, and then we can just kind of keep going?
Licenses are calendar year, so the current license he's operating on is for 2025. What he'd be renewing is for 2026. You would vote on that renewal in December, at your meeting in December. You can decide to renew for 30 days, 6 months, 12 months. Typically, you do an annual renewal, but you don't have to.
Okay, so just kind of like what we did last year.
Yep.
We've been setting artificial expiration dates, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, really, the November 30th, it doesn't really matter if we can keep setting extensions as we please. Yeah. Right.
There is a renewal fee that is paid, so that sometimes comes into the equation if you...
Which we were waiving, but I don't know if we have continued to waive.
Don't believe you have continued to waive it.
No, it's been waived. I've not paid it this year.
Okay.
All right.
So, Denise, I agree with you, and there's more I could say that I won't because of your position. But I also think that as the licensing commission in town, we have a duty to the residents of this town to make sure they're served, and which is by having competition and by having stores that are convenient to people. And so I don't think our duty is just to protect you.
No, I'm not looking.
No, I just want you to understand.
No, I understood what you're saying. Yes.
Obviously, we have done a lot. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
So I guess I would recommend us extend it to the end of the year. And then we have a natural vote coming up, what will happen next year. And I will say to the rest of the board, I'm not going to vote to pull this license until my hand is forced, I guess. And I think my hand would be forced by the court. And so, as Vineeth said, that can get resolved much more easily if the parties shake hands across the table. And so that is what to me, I want to tell you, I want to take some of the pressure off. And so you can get this thing done.
Done, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's my position as well.
Okay. Would you like to make a motion?
So should we, okay, so I'll move to extend the Bottle Shop annual liquor license to November 30th,
Or just do it till the end of the year.
Okay, until December 31st, 2025.
Second.
Anything further?
Okay.
Dan, sorry, yeah. And all right, all those in favor?
And I will definitely keep Mike informed as I go along.
Yep, all right, thank you. Yeah, good luck. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, and I will say that, so we extended until December 31st, so our meeting before then, last meeting before then is going to be December 15th.
Okay.
So we're still running into some problems.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we have under new business ratification of Department of Public Works collective bargaining agreement. Lynn?
Thank you. So this was an executive session topic that should have also made it to open session, but we just missed it on the agenda. So it's back here to you tonight to vote on an open session. This is a ratified collective bargaining memorandum of agreement with the DPW union to cover FY26, FY27, and FY28. We spent considerable time talking a lot about the issues that have been plaguing that union in terms of staff retention and long-term vacancies. And so we made significant steps toward trying to address that with a COLA of 2% for FY26 and then a modified pay scale, again, looking at market rates for the types of positions that we're trying to fill and comparing us with other communities. There will be, if this is voted on successfully tonight, there would then be a warrant article at the fall town meeting in November to fund that pay scale adjustment, because I do not have funding set aside in the prior article that generally funds collective bargaining agreements. This is over and above that. But I felt like I was comfortable taking that step forward, given the issues that we've had with those positions over the last few years. And then most of the rest of the language that was agreed to is cleanup from just old contract language. We spent a lot of time nitpicking the contract overall to just make sure that the language made sense, was still accurate for reflecting what the union is now and what the department, the DPW itself, needs. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And all of this will be incorporated into a cleaned up contract and posted to the town website.
We discussed this quite a bit at an executive session, our last executive session. Any questions for Lynn in open session? All right. Thank you, Lynn, for your hard work on this. DPW staffing is a hot topic, and we appreciate your work on it. Okay, with a motion?
I make a motion to ratify Department of Public Works collective bargaining agreement.
Nice.
Second.
All right, anything further? All those in favor? Great. Okay, next up we have the middle school building project ballot question. Lynn, what do we need to do on
Thank
this?
you. So this is the language that's been approved by MSBA. The town clerk will be waiting to order ballots until after the September 9th meeting. September 10th, the order would go in, assuming a affirmative vote that night, and ballots will get ready. On September 15th, the actual election warrant will come to you to sign. It needs to be done 7 days before, but we don't anticipate any issue with that. And so we put this language on here. You don't need to approve it, but we put it on here for you to see it.
Okay, great. Next up, we have one-day liquor license applications. We have 3 for the LACCF. And there's no limit on months, it's just annual, right?
Right.
50 a year, okay.
I don't even think it's that many.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. They come very close, but they have not gone over. I
Okay.
feel like it's...
Maybe it's 30 of them or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I will move to approve the Long Meadow Adult Center Community Funds one-day liquor license applications for September 4th, 2025, September 23rd, 2025, and September 25th, 2025.
Second.
All right, anything further? All those in favor?
I will move to approve One Way Brewing's one-day liquor license application for September 7th, 2025.
Second.
Anything further? All those in favor?
And I will move to approve St. Mary's Guild application, one-day liquor license applications for September 25th, 2025, and October 29th, 2025.
Second.
Anything further? All those in favor? Okay, and then finally, we have a street closure map for a small portion of Winona Place.
Yes. So this was uploaded to the agenda. I believe the final version was uploaded today.
Yeah, it was the signed version today by Chief Stocks, and the map's attached. Here it is. It's all set.
Okay, and this is for Saturday.
And it's in
So we're
recognition.
beginning of Winona Place in front of just lost it. Margaret Grace's driveway.
And just
Yeah.
Maggie was a lovely lady. She had an accident, and it's really tragic. She's got some really loving neighbors on Winona and Greenacre that are doing this event for her. So I think it's fantastic, and yeah, we're sorry to see her go. She was a great lady.
A longtime seasonal employee of the Department of Public Works as well. So it's very sad.
Mayor of Greenacre and a pumpkin queen. All right, do we have a motion to approve the block party application?
I will move to approve the street closure application submitted by Jill Stewart for September 6th, 2025.
Second.
Anything further? All those in favor? Anything on correspondence? All right, seeing none, we have a motion to adjourn.
Well, the only thing for the Country Bank, are they asking us if they can put signs up, or was that
This,
just a notification?
This was a repeat from last.
Oh, okay.
We covered
Yes,
this
that was-
last,
yeah.
Okay.
and took care of it, or,
Yep.
Oh, I knew that sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Sorry.
guys, we were persistent.
I was like, wait, didn't we do that? Okay, thank you. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Oh, just I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Peggy wants us to keep going. All those in favor?
Thank you. Andrew, I believe.